Props and Locks on Fox 10 is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more.
Hey, I'm Sierra Santos. Welcome into Props and Locks, brought to you by FanDuel. We are the Friday night hotspot and your weekly resource for sports betting. This show moves fast, but not as quickly as the money piling up in Big Ten Ben's bank account. Let's bring him in, a.k.a. Ben Stevens, host of the Morning After on Sports Grid. Ben, we're going to get to Tom Brady's return to Gillette in a bit, but in the other most anticipated game of the weekend, two unbeatens, an NFC West showdown as the Cardinals visit the Rams in Los Angeles. Cardinals open as underdogs, but the line continues to move. Right now they sit at plus 4.5.
Tierra, I have 17 lines of notes about this game. I am ready to go and dive fully in to the Cardinals and the Rams, a battle of unbeatens in the NFC West. You mentioned the line movement. It opened at 6 in favor of LA. It is now moved in Arizona's favor. The Cardinals now getting 4.5 points, so some movement there. The total also up by a point to 54.5. It is tied for the highest total across the entire Week 4 slate. That also tied with Kansas City and Philadelphia. Makes sense. Two of the top 3 scoring offenses in the league. The Cardinals tied for the top spot there, averaging more than 34 points per game. The Rams in that third spot, the third best scoring offense in the NFL, more than 31 points per game. So I expect some points on Sunday.
Let's delve into this a little bit deeper because it is such a big game. The Cardinals have yet to beat the Rams in the Kyler Cliff era, and they got their playoff hopes ripped away at the hands of Sean McVay and a backup quarterback in Week 17 last year. Kyler Murray said as a competitor, he's eager to notch that first dub over LA. Meanwhile, Matt Stafford has been doing exactly what the Rams had hoped for, slinging the ball all over the field. He threw for 343 yards last week. So let's talk about passing props, Ben.
Shall we? Let's dive into those passing props. The one on Matthew Stafford, although he has been very good this year, seems a little bit too high for me. 292.5 passing yards is his prop for Sunday's game against Arizona. The one on the other side, the quarterback for the Cardinals, Kyler Murray, is very intriguing to me. 272.5 yards is his passing yards prop for Sunday's game against the Rams. Kyler is averaging well more than that, 335 passing yards per game, the third highest total per game on average in the NFL so far this year. So if you're looking for value in the passing yards, I looked at Kyler Murray. He has gone over this number of 272 in the hook in every game so far this year. If you're looking for value in passing touchdowns, though, Matthew Stafford's prop at 2.5 with plus money to the over. He had 4 touchdowns last week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 3 in week number 1, 2 in week 2. I think Matthew Stafford can get you some plus money on Sunday.
All right, another divisional matchup. Seahawks and Niners at Levi Stadium. Seattle off to a rough start, a 1-2 record, one of the NFL's worst defenses statistically. But with that said, Russell Wilson has never lost 3 straight games in his career. San Fran also dealing with a banged up secondary. Ben, FanDuel is projecting this to be a fairly close game.
This is the key number of 3, the most common number that NFL football games fall out on a year-to-year basis. On that key number, the field goal of 3, I think you're getting the better number if you're looking to the Seattle Seahawks. I am still a believer in Russell Wilson and what the Seahawks might be able to do this year in the NFC West, Sierra. So I'm going to take the underdog even on the road in Santa Clara. I think Seattle can come out with an outright win, sprinkle it on the money line as well.
Sunday Night Football, Tom Brady returns to New England for the first time since breaking up with Bill Belichick and the Patriots after 20 seasons. We all know the history. Buccaneers are 7-point favorites.
This line, Sierra, also opened up at a much smaller number. Tampa Bay minus 5.5. The look-ahead line even earlier in the season was Tampa Bay only laying 3.5. Well, it's all the way up to that key number of 7 on that touchdown. The Bucs defense has not been very good this year. The 6th worst scoring defense in the NFL, but the Pats scoring offense even worse, only averaging 18 points per game. The play for that on Sunday night, Tom's return, Pats team total under of 20.
Monday Night Football, Raiders paying a visit to the Chargers in Los Angeles. This is a team, the Chargers team, I should say, that ranks dead last in run defense. Meanwhile, Josh Jacobs eyeing a comeback after missing some time with an ankle injury.
Yeah, but it's all about that passing attack for the Las Vegas Raiders, and that's going to be on full display in SoFi Stadium on Monday night. It might be in Los Angeles, Sierra, but I expect this to be a Vegas home crowd. I think the Raiders can contend, that line moving as well. It was 3.5 in favor of LA, now down to just 3. The hook giveth and the hook taketh.
We covered the greatest hits, but we are not done with the NFL. Plus, we can't forget about Big Ten Ben's best bets of the week. We are back after a quick timeout.
Welcome back to Props and Locks, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook.
Thanks for staying up late with us on Props and Locks. I'm Sierra Santos alongside our sports betting bestie, Ben Stevens. We talked about the best. Let's get to the rest. Maybe you're cooking up a mean parlay. Vikings host the Browns in Minnesota. Cleveland minus 138 on the money line.
I like Cleveland in this game. I'm still not a believer in the Minnesota Vikings, although Kirk Cousins at home is a very different quarterback. But you saw that Cleveland Browns front seven last week against Chicago. I think they can wreak some havoc on that Minnesota front as well. Even as the road team, I would lay the points with the Cleveland Browns.
All right, Chiefs at Eagles, Patrick Mahomes and company 7-point favorites on the road.
On the road in Philadelphia, and I feel terrible for the people in the city of brotherly love. This starts a grueling 4-game stretch for the Eagles, who are now just 1-2 after a season-opening win. They have Kansas City this week, then on the road at Carolina, then the reigning Super Bowl champs in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then a trip out to the desert against the Raiders. It does not get easy at all for the Eagles, especially with this game against the Chiefs. That line moving a little bit, 7.5 down to 7. I still think the Chiefs win by double digits.
Strength of schedule is a cruel mistress, Ben. The show is called Props and Locks. In our final segment, Big Ten Ben gives us the best locks for the weekend.
Welcome back to Props and Locks, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook.
The show is called Props and Locks, so we got to get to what the people love. It is the locks. It's time for a segment we like to call Big Ten Ben's Best Bets of the Week. Ben, we need some theme music, I don't know, an air horn, something. I'll work on that for next week, but let's get to it. In the Big 12, TCU has won 6 of their last 7 meetings with Texas, but you're feeling the Longhorns minus 5.5 on the road.
Maybe that's the theme music right there for Big Ten Ben's Best Bets of the Week. But no Big Ten games for the second straight week. I don't even know who I am. I'm having an internal crisis. But I am going to the Big 12. I have missed on Texas twice so far this year, Sierra. I think the third time is a charm for me. I love what Texas did last week against Texas Tech, scoring 70 points. They are the second best scoring offense in the country. Meanwhile, TCU has been known for its defense in the Gary Patterson era. There for the Horned Frogs this year, not really good. Bottom 20 in scoring defense, the 5th worst total defense in all of college football. Texas covers and wins by more than 5.5.
I appreciate when a man admits when he's wrong. Let's go to the Sun Devils, who are going to the Rose Bowl to take on the Bruins. And Ben, you have a lot of confidence in UCLA's defense. You like the ASU team total under.
Last week, it was a team total that worked out in Arizona State's favor as one of my locks of the week. Colorado under 14.5. The Buffs only scored 13. This week, I think it's going to be tough for Arizona State to generate some offense. When you look at this battle, it's a matchup of the running games. UCLA, the 6th best rushing defense in the country. Arizona State, though, 55th, allowing more than 130 yards on the ground. UCLA might be able to control time of possession. I'm not sure Arizona State can get above 3 scores. The team total not out yet, but you can estimate it around 25 for the Sun Devils. Unfortunately, I think they go under that. Please, good folks of the Arizona area, don't hate me. I'll still flash the fear of the fork nonetheless.
I don't hate you, but I am feeling pretty confident about ASU's backfield with everyone getting right and healthy. Let's go back to the NFL. Broncos, one of 5 undefeated teams remaining, but you have the Ravens minus 1 on the road. You really think that Lamar Jackson's going to be good to go for this one?
Sierra, this is a line flip, the only line flip we have of the entire Week 4 slate in the NFL. The Broncos were the initial favored by 1.5. Now it is the Ravens being the road favorite in the Mile High City. Yes, I think Lamar will be good to go. I'm not concerned by his back. Neither is his offensive coordinator. I think when you look at Denver, although they are unbeaten and they are perfect against the spread as well, who have they played? The Giants, The Jets and the Jaguars. This is their first real competition. Baltimore goes on the road and gets a win.
I only ask you about Lamar because I have to ask the tough questions when we go into all this. Ben, thank you again for all your insight. I'll work on the theme music. You figure out a nice little sound effect. It's teamwork around here. And don't forget, Props and Locks moves to a new time slot immediately before Thursday Night Football. We are hitting the props heavy next week, Ben. And as always, check your FanDuel app for the latest lines. Until next week, take it easy.